Welcome to Thriving on Purpose, the YouTube channel.
Hello, gorgeous people, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Thriving on Purpose, the YouTube channel. Here we share stories of determination, inspiration, hope, and motivation for sisters who may still be on their breast cancer journey, or for those who have completed treatment and they may not be sure of their next steps, right? I am your host, D. Manuel Cloud. I am a two-time breast cancer survivor, now 16 years in remission. And I have made it my life's purpose. You know what? I didn't make anything. God has made it my life's purpose to share stories of inspiration, hope, and determination so that we can support other sisters who may be going on this journey. And today, I have with me the amazing songbird, Miss StarR Logan. StarR, say hi to the people.
Hi, y'all. Hey.
So StarR has an amazing story, and so I'm going to let her share with you, and we're going to just dive right in. So StarR, first tell us your age of diagnosis and your type of diagnosis.
Okay, first, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here, and giving me a space to share my breast cancer journey and life afterwards, right? I'm StarR. I am a 4-year breast cancer survivor as of February 25th. Woo woo. I was diagnosed at 25 years old. I found my lump actually myself when I was 24, 6 months prior to diagnosis. And so I was sitting at home watching TV, and I put my hand inside of my shirt. And I was like, what is this? And I got to Googling like lumps that appear out of nowhere. And of course, Google was telling me I was dying tomorrow. So I called my mom and was like, I have a lump. And she's like, oh, well, it's probably just your hormones. Have you had your menstrual this month? And I'm like, no, you're right. I haven't had my menstrual. So maybe that's what it is. Well, my menstrual came and left, but the lump didn't. It was still there. And so I went over to their house one day because my mom, she cooked sometimes throughout the week. Yes, we love a free meal. And so I went over there and we were talking, and she brought the lump back up in conversation. And so I'm like, no, it's still there. And so she was like, well, maybe you should go to the doctor. She felt it. She was like, it feels kind of like, just like lumpy tissue, like I have that sometimes and whatnot, don't freak out. So she told me that, and I believed her. And I'm like, okay, so maybe that's just what it is. And so I didn't go to the doctor until maybe 3 months after, because I had a well woman exam scheduled or whatnot. So I went, had my annual well woman, and then I brought to their attention the lump. And so she felt this. She said, it's probably nothing. I still wasn't like confident in the answer because I'm like, this thing has been sitting here and it has not gone away. Like, even if it is nothing, can we take this out? Like, it's not supposed to be here. And so she wrote me a script, had an ultrasound, told me don't lose it because if you lose it, you're not gonna be seen. Which I was a little bit like, what's that about? Like, what if someone doesn't come to, the doctor first, or what if I am a careless person and I lose the script or whatnot? Still didn't go immediately after that or whatnot because I had just started my career. So, because I had just graduated college the year before, so trying to get settled in that, not wanting to take off work to do different things or whatnot. So I finally went, had the ultrasound. He still said it was nothing. Scheduled me for a 6-month checkup. And when I was in the room with the technician, she was like, we were talking just about like life, my students, and then she got quiet. And I'm like, oh Lord, that's not a good sign. And all I heard was click, 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 click. And so I was like, all right, Lord, like I prayed to you about this, whatever this is, it's in your will. You're gonna give me the strength, to like get through this. And so she was like, you doing all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. Got dressed. she called in like another team. It was like 5 doctors in the room. And they're like, it's grown. We want to do a biopsy. It's still probably nothing. You don't have any family history. And so I was like, okay. So we went upstairs this exact same day. I had the biopsy done, waited a week, and then I got the call February 25th. They were like, we just was so sure it wasn't cancer. You're so young. Like you said, you don't have any family history. But rally up your support system. Come to your appointment that we already had scheduled on Thursday, because this was over the phone. And so I got off the phone. I took a moment. I sat at my desk. I put on some Jacqueline Carr, and I was like, all right, God, we here. This is what we doing. And once I had gathered myself together, I started making my phone calls to my immediate circle. Like, hey, y'all, this is what's going on. And because I was someone that, like, when something's on my mind, it comes up in conversation a lot. It wasn't a surprise. Like, I kept bringing up, like, this lump is in my left breast and it won't go away. And so they like, oh my God, my sister fainted in the store. My mom fainted at home. I waited to tell my little brother because he was away at college. And so I was like, I want to get a handle on this a little bit better, because I'm sure people are going to have a ton of information and whatnot. And so, yeah, that's how the journey started.
Wow. Yeah, that 25-year-old diagnosis blows my mind. I mean, it is such a young age
Yeah.
to be faced with breast cancer. And I remember when I was in clinic with a young lady who was 18, which blew my mind also.
Yeah.
So it just blows my mind that we're seeing ladies younger and younger being diagnosed with this disease.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that you found your lump yourself. I love that you were proactive about it. And so tell us now, StarR, the treatment plan that you and your care team chose.
So my breast cancer was hormonal. So it was estrogen and progesterone positive, HER2 negative. I got tested done, so I didn't have the genetic mutation as well. And so because of how young I was, and because I was in great shape, immediately, like, breast reconstruction was discussed at like the start before everything, which I found interesting, because in talking to other women in the community, like, it's not discussed until like later on down the road. But we decided we were going to do breast reconstruction. And after having my MRIs and my PET scans, they found that there were, like, it wasn't just one, it was 18 different tumors scattered across the whole left breast. And then 1.5 of my lymph nodes had cancer activity. And so they were like, yeah, in order for us to, do the breast reconstruction, we want to preserve as much skin as possible. So I started chemo first. And they were able to dissolve a lot of the tumors, but there was still, cancer towards the end of my chemo regimen. So I did 4 regimens of adriamycin and Cytoxan. So that combo, which they call it the Red Devil, I did 4 infusions of that. And then I did 12 infusions of Taxol. But Taxol had to be broken up. It wasn't like it was a continuous thing, because 3 weeks into my Taxol infusions, my oncologist found a mass on my heart. So we had to stop treatment. I had to see a cardiologist, end up having open heart surgery because they couldn't tell what was in my heart. And also my mitral valve wasn't opening and closing. But, like, I felt fine. Like, went to this echo appointment because my oncologist specialized in hematology as well, and matters of the heart. And so echoes was just a routine thing that we did, like, every 2 weeks throughout my treatment. And so every 2 weeks I went and there wasn't anything. And then I come to this appointment and they're like, are you okay? Does your chest hurt? Like, are you having trouble breathing? I was fine. I had plans to, like, hang with my guy at the time, because he flew in. We were in a long distance relationship. We had plans for the whole weekend. Like, I'm fine. What are you talking about? And they're like, no, there's a really nice sized mass in the right atrium of your heart. Like, we
Yeah.
need to operate immediately. And so I didn't have the surgery that day just because I need time to process this. I need to think about this, or whatnot. So, oh my goodness, my plans changed, a little bit that weekend. But I still, told my family what was going on. We did the open heart surgery, recovered from that. And then when it was time to come back, I'm like, woohoo, we finna kick out the rest of this chemo. And then I found out I was pregnant. I was 6 weeks. So that was, a delayed thing, but I miscarried because it was very stressful. My doctor didn't want me to go full time. My partner at the time didn't want me to go full time. All my family was like, you're doing so well. You're responding to treatment. Like, you can always try later on. And like in the beginning of everything, I had saw a fertility specialist. But and my team was on it. They're like, before you do this, we want to do this scan. We want you to see this fertility specialist. But I opted out of it because I was overwhelmed. Like, and like, there's a fee for this. There's a fee for this. There's a fee. And I'm a year out of college. Like, I don't have $15,000 to do any of this. So if it's in the Lord's will for me to become a mother, I still stand on that, like, it's okay. I was just like, we're going to start treatment. And then I'm like, who gets pregnant in the middle of like all this stuff going on? So clearly my egg still worked. So I made the right decision. We finished my chemo regimen. And then I had my last chemo was September 24th. And then my double mastectomy with the start of breast reconstruction was December 1st. I'm not gonna lie.
What year was all of this?
2020. So in the middle of COVID and all that too, I was going through all of this, in the midst of it. So September 24th, 2020, December 1st of 2020. And I was nervous in between because there's like no treatment going on. Like, of course, I was going to my consultations and going to go see the different doctors, but I'm like, is this okay? Like, y'all told me this is grade 3, it's super aggressive. Like, I don't want it to spread anymore, but by the grace of God, nothing, no more complications. So double mastectomy, started reconstruction. They placed my expanders at the same time. And then I went every week for a saline fill until we were able to stretch my skin out to a nice size to swap the expanders out for my implants. So, yeah.
What a powerful, powerful story. So you ended up having open heart surgery in the midst of this. You ended up miscarrying in the midst of all of this. You had 18 different tumors in your left breast. That's a lot. God is a listen, God playing favorites with you. God's playing favorites with you.
Hey, I said the same thing. I was like, God, you really love me. But I think that's the beauty in all of it, that like he knew just how much I could handle. And I feel like he gave me so much grace, through all of it. And I was able to be strong, not just for myself, but I believe for my family, and the fact that through all of it, I never felt like I'm gonna die. And I know that is like super weird because it's like you're going through so much, but every time that something new came along, I was just like, all right, guys, like we here with this too, we finna, we're about to get through this. So, but no, I just had faith, and now that I'm on the other side of everything, I realized that it's, God knew that I would be able to be like, it was him, like, because of his grace, because of his strength, on my good days, on my bad days, like I'm here. And I also think it's important for people to see that, like, just because you get diagnosed with breast cancer, it does not mean that it's the end and that you're gonna die, and some do, unfortunately that's the case for some, but I don't know why God chose me to be the beacon of hope for some people, but nonetheless, I'm grateful for it for sure.
One of the things that you said, you know, that it sounds weird that you never thought that you were going to die. I don't think that that sounds weird at all. I think that that is a testament to the faith that you have in
Yeah.
God and that you knew that God would carry you through, right? So I don't think it's weird at all. I think it's a testament to your faith. Tell us, StarR, what, if any, lessons you learned on your breast cancer journey?
Wow. I learned a lot. I learned so much so I wrote a book about it. So
Tell us the
but
name of your book.
Sparkle on Purpose. And so the I derived the name because StarR, the sparkle part, and then the on purpose because going through this breast cancer experience has definitely evolved what I believe my purpose here on earth was. You think you living into something super traumatic happens and you like, all right, so what do I do from this? But I learned a lot throughout of it. One of the biggest things for me was forgiveness. And so in being in the middle of COVID, being in the middle of treatment, having a compromised immune system, I had a lot of time to sit and think amongst myself. And the more people learn, because it got out, it spread like she has breast cancer. She's so young. This doesn't happen. Like I was like a unicorn to my peers because no one hears of anybody having breast cancer. And so a lot of people took the time to apologize for a lot of things. And it was in that moment that I didn't realize that I had some issues with some of the people that I had issues with until you're in the middle of it. And so I'm like, wow, like we got to do some things on our heart. We got to work on our heart a little bit and like, you know, forgive other people. Another big lesson for me was letting people do things. I am super independent, right? It's hard for me to, or it was hard for me because like I said, it was a lesson. I've gotten better at this, but allowing people to show up for me, whether it was getting a ride to infusion sometimes, allowing my parents to help take care of me because by the time I was 19, I was out of the house. I had jobs since I was 15. I've always had somewhere to stay. So to have to take a step back and allow people to show up for me and not necessarily be or feel like I'm a burden. I had to learn how to do that. And I just, that is a huge one because that's not something that you can go through by yourself. You need a support system. You need people to do things for you. And I'm talking about from physical things to even financially, like people were purchasing things. A lot of my, not a lot of, all of my recovery things, I didn't have to purchase myself between my sorors to my family, my church members. Like I was extremely taken care of. And also to trust God. I feel like whether you're, for me, I'm a Christian, my faith is in Jesus. I feel like whatever you believe in, you need something bigger than yourself to get through that. For sure, because it's mental. And you know, there were times that no, I didn't want to give up, but there were times I was exhausted, like physically, emotionally, and I had nothing but Jesus. Like even in my rooms recovering from the different surgeries, I had 7 surgeries in 1 year. And like and all of that in the middle of COVID, my family couldn't be there, my friends couldn't be there, my guy at the time couldn't be there. So like my spiritual anchor is really what kind of like kept me sane and kept my positivity and optimism. And on the days, you know, I was able to talk to God about things that I don't feel like I was comfortable enough to talk about to other people because like I knew it was a very sensitive and fragile situation for a lot of the people that were connected to me. And I guess in a sense, I was fearful that like if I didn't appear strong, or if I let in something that kind of hinted to some disbelief or something, that it would affect other people who really were only being strong because they saw my strength.
Right.
That God, like, okay, well, I can have this conversation with you. Like, I know it's not gonna change anything. You know my heart, you know my faith, you know that this don't mean I don't believe that you can do the impossible. I'm human. I'm struggling down here. I need you, so absolutely you need something bigger than yourself to anchor
I
you
call
in
it
something like that.
I call it dust, right? Because I'm inclusive. So I call it dust. God, the universe, the source, the spirit, dust. Like I agree with you
Yeah,
wholeheartedly. You have to know that there is something bigger than yourself that you can lean on and rely on. Like I am a firm believer that God makes no mistakes. And that
absolutely.
everything that we're going through is for God's glory. You mentioned before that unfortunately some of us don't make it
Right.
right on this breast cancer journey. And I even believe that that's by God's design. I
Yeah.
believe that God needs people in the spirit realm to support us and to help us, right? And then God needs people in the physical realm to
Yeah.
support us and help us. So I believe that we have spirit guides and then we have embodied guys,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? So tell me, Star, what it means to you now to thrive and how that shows up in your life.
That's a great thing. And I think that it's evolved the more that I learn about myself. And every day that I'm blessed to be able to still be here on earth. Thriving to me, um, showing up as your most authentic self in that moment. We all have room to grow. We all have things we have to work on within ourselves. But I feel like showing up as your best self and what that looks like in that moment, and I say in that moment because when I reflect on my journey there, it looked different. I wasn't able to walk at one point. I had trouble, lifting my arms. I got winded sometimes when I was able to speak, but I feel like even in that or whatnot, like people were still inspired in it. Like she's still showing up, she's still trying, Um, and then afterwards, showing up as myself, like I felt like, okay, God, you let me live through this. How dare I keep these to myself? How dare I not tell people, your goodness, but also getting over the uncomfortableness that comes with that, which it probably doesn't seem like that, in my conversations, or whatnot, but I don't like to talk. Like I do not like to talk at all. I love to sing, and I've been on the stage all my life. So singing, and I told my manager, I've told other artists, I'm like, I could just get up and sing and not have to talk and interact with people, or even at church having to like exhort and like help lead people into we here to worship God, right? If I didn't have to talk, I would not. So, but I feel like because of this, and being able to tell my story, I've had to step out of that of like, like speak and project and
I
take
love
your
it.
time, so that's been an evolution for me of like stepping more, into that. And so from me speaking and me showing up as myself, being an author, being a singer, being an educator, being a daughter, being a friend, just showing up as yourself and giving yourself grace when it might not be a good day, a grace when you might not handle a situation a certain type of way, grace when you have scares and anxiety, because there have been little situations where I'm like, all right now, I hope this isn't, coming back and having to have scans and going to the doctor. And my oncologist is like, calm down. It's not that. I get it. I love you for coming. And of course, like advocating for yourself or whatnot, but you're good. You're in the clear. And so giving yourself grace, loving on others. And I emphasize that because not just the people who love you back, but also the people who may be a little difficult to love at times, a little difficult to understand. And finding self in all of that. So you can't show up as your best self if you don't even know what that looks like. If you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing, if you don't know what your purpose is, if you're just taking up space, you just here. And I feel like we all have a purpose. We all have a sense of being, a reason for being here. We're all assigned to, certain people or whatnot. And so if you don't take the time to pause and do the work and figure out, well, who am I? And we evolve over time and whatnot. And even if you do figure it out, I think it's important to pause again, to re-reflect, because you change, like
You grow.
4 years.
Well, you should. You should grow.
Yes. If you're not, what are you doing? So
I love that. So what I heard you say, Star, is that for thriving for you means first showing up as your authentic self, bringing the realness and the fullness of you, and being the best version of yourself. Giving yourself grace on those days when it's hard, giving others grace, love for self, and more importantly, love for others, not
yes.
just those that are easy to love, but those people who may
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit more challenging
Yes.
to love. And yeah, I just want to make sure I recap. So thank you. So tell us, Star, what you're up to now and how the people can follow you.
Absolutely. So I actually just relaunched my book. I was encouraged from our pre-conversation before today. And I was like, we got to get on this. It's not that difficult. So it became available on Amazon. It's an ebook, woo, 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 yesterday. So people were able to pre-order it for the past 2 weeks. But yes, if you search Sammy StarR, SAMMIE STARR, Sparkle on Purpose, it's my ebook. I've added a gallery, like a photo gallery, which wasn't in the other book. And I tweaked and added a little things to a few of the chapters. I was like, because when I originally wrote it, I kind of was on a restraint with my budget for publishing it or whatnot. But, with Amazon ebook, it was free. So I'm like, girl, let's do it how God gave us. Like, let's put this out like how he gave it to you. So I'm excited that that's out. I am still pushing my most recent EP. Love a girl, because I'm a lover girl. I love all things love. And I think that we should talk about it more, especially in a time where everybody's like, I don't need a man. I don't need love.
We're in this, we're such in this space of not necessarily just, I don't need a man, Star, but there are so many people walking around here thinking they don't need anybody.
Yeah.
And if the pandemic has not taught us but one thing, is that we need each other.
Yes.
And
So
I feel that. I resonate with everything you just said.
I'm just like, I won't be that person. Someone needs to put positivity out into the atmosphere. And so it's a 6-song project. I added a bonus song that encompasses love, and so I'm super proud of that. I have another EP which was birthed out of my breast cancer journey, and so I used it as a diary, music as a diary to I guess kind of process everything, but also give God the glory. And when I put it out, I was telling everyone, I'm like, I don't want to be a gospel artist. I'm a singer who loves the Lord. And so this second album is not gospel, it's R&B. But it's still clean because hello, we can't do too much because we gotta show up at church house on Sunday. So But yes, that's that. I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram, Sammy Star, SAMMIESTARR. I am on YouTube, so I did vlog my breast cancer journey at different points. And it's Sammy Star on YouTube too. I try to make it as easy as possible for people to find me. So they're like, wait, what's her name on YouTube? And it's different. SAMMIESTARR on those platforms. That's how you can find me.
I love it. And we're going to drop the link to StarR's book and also her EP in the comments and attach it to this recording so that anybody interested in picking up the book, Sparkle on Purpose, and anybody interested in streaming or picking up the EP, Lover Girl, can do that. So thank you so much, Miss Star, for just sharing your testimony, sharing your resilience, sharing your triumph, sharing your faith, and doing it so gracefully to be so young, right? You are truly an inspiration, and I can't wait until this episode airs. Like, I'm super stoked about it.
I'm excited too.
Some gems here, and to just know everything that you went through, 7 surgeries in 1 year, and again, to be so young and to be able to maintain that faith and that encouragement and that strength at such a young age, I think is an inspiration. It's going to be an inspiration for a lot of people who get a chance to watch this recording. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was a great conversation. I appreciate the opportunity. I think the work that you're doing is beautiful. Thank you for your yes. Thank you for walking in your purpose of how, God gave you this thing, this baby, your baby. So I'm happy to be here today. I am excited to see all the great things that transpires from this episode. So thank you.
No, thank you. And do you want to give us a bar of Lover Girl?
Sure. When I say I want you, I really mean it. I ain't trying to hide it or keep it a secret. I really need you here in my life, and I really wanna do this right, 'cause life can be so complicated, a little messy, and a little dirty. Makes me crazy. Y'all gotta hear the rest on Apple TV.
Yes, we do. We do. So we're going to be dropping the links to Lover Girl and also to Sparkle on Purpose by Sammy Star. Y'all support this young sister who is doing amazing, amazing things. We're here to be of support to each other. So please check it out. And Star, thank you so much for your time and for just your energy, your spirit, your beautiful, beautiful spirit. Thank you a million times over. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you've liked what you've heard, please like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications so you can hear more powerful stories like these. I am again your host, D. Manuel Cloud. Remember, we're thriving on purpose. Talk with y'all soon. Mwah.
For more inspirational stories like these, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember to turn on your notifications. Thank you for rocking with us. And remember, we're thriving on purpose.